So, when I was a kid, I could have only dreamed of having equipment like this. This is a really nice rig. This is the Yaesu FT1000MP Mark V. And someday when I get my HF license, I will be using this. And in the meantime, it serves as an awesome receiver for my world listening post. But sometimes I like to go old school. There's something, in my opinion, very special about the warmth and clarity of vacuum tubes. And this is my, I believe, 1964 National 121 that I've been restoring. It reminds me a lot of a receiver I had when I was a kid, the National SW54 seen here. When I was about the 5th or 6th grade, many hours were spent at night listening to the old SW54 that I got at a garage sale for $5. It needed a rectifier tube and a capacitor. A problem that I think was related to each other. Ended up replacing both parts, and it worked like a champ. I used to hook it up to the house antenna at night and just listen to everything out there. And honestly, back in the 70s, there was a lot to listen to on shortwave. Now, the radio on the bottom here is a 1968 Swan 500C. It was a radio I could have only dreamed of in those days. This is something that I might have seen on the shelf at Henry Radio Company in Butler, Missouri, a place that I went to literally every week just to nose around and talk to the technicians. I mean, it was a little taste of heaven for me to go into Henry Radio. I also picked this unit up when I picked up the Yaesu, and it works perfectly. But interestingly, today I wanted to talk about this. This is a 1998 limited edition Crosley radio. AM/FM cassette, made to look old, and they sold pretty well back in the day. Somebody actually gave me this, and I decided to convert it to pick up shortwave because I liked the way it looked, and I liked the simplicity of the electronics, and I thought this would be a great candidate to convert to shortwave. Since I've done the conversion, I can tell you this, the graduation, of course, doesn't match up on the dial for the shortwave band that I pick up, but it basically picks up between about 2 megahertz and about 14 or 15, which is pretty wide. All that's now squeezed into the AM dial. So you may be saying, since I don't know where I'm at on the dial, how do I know what I'm listening to? Well, it's actually pretty simple if you use it for a while. I can pick up WWV in 5 or 6 places, so I know I'm getting all the ones in the United States plus a few out of Canada. I also know that I'm getting 80, 40, and 20 meters on the HF side because you can just tell they're spread out, and I can start picking them up, and I know that's got to be 80, 40, and 20. Now, just for grins, I had a BFO on this so I could listen to the HF bands, and I made that out of an old pocket AM radio. And it worked kind of so-so. I'm going to redo all that, and that will be in a future video, how you can take a radio just like this, convert AM to shortwave, and do a BFO. I have another YouTube video where I did that with an old Pioneer receiver. I'll try to put that in the comments below, a link to it. So again, the BFO mod will be done in a future video. Today I just want to show you how I converted this AM radio to pick up shortwave, and a few tips and tricks that I learned along the way. First thing you want to do is find the ferrite antenna that's used for the AM. And you'll want to wrap wire around the copper wound portion of the ferrite antenna. As you can see I did here, I covered it all in hot glue to make it stay in place. Some folks who do this say that you should put like 6 or 7 turns around that and spread it evenly over the whole wound area on the ferrite antenna. I did something a little different. I wound it from one end to the other. And so there's probably 12 loops on this one. It's a lot tighter than what the other guys say to do. Anyway, after you do that, you bring the 2 ends of the 18 to 22 gauge wire like I used together. And this will be your new antenna connection. And at this juncture, you can turn it on, put it on the AM band, and you will pick up shortwave. Right now I've got it connected to about an 80-foot long wire antenna outside. I've also got a great big UHF, VHF, kind of a general purpose antenna. I've tried it with that, as well as a CB antenna. And believe it or not, it seems to work equally well with any of them. I've had people ask, what is the extra wire hanging down right here on the connection? That is actually for the BFO that I will add later, or add back in later once I perfect it a little bit.
When I look by, I wonder.
Interestingly, it's really sensitive. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon here in the central part of the United States, and it's picking up like a champ. At night, it's even better. Anyway, if you have questions or comments or suggestions, please send me a message. Thanks for watching.